Before we continue with this video, I'm working on a series where I'll be editing your images. So if you want me to edit your work, you can send photos to the email address on your screen. Don't forget to subscribe. Now let's get started with the video. Welcome to this series where I edit your photos. Now before I continue with this video, in my last series where I posted about editing your photos, I got some emails that are, like asking me ways that they can send these images because some files are too large to send via email. What you guys can do is you guys can use like a platform like WeTransfer.com to send multiple images to the email address on your screen, and it will be very fast and it's very easy. And you guys should also not forget to include your Instagram username to the email as well. So let's get started with this video. Now this first image that we're going to be editing right here is by Blue Photography. Our Instagram handle is on the screen right now, so you guys can go check our work out. So let's start editing this image right now. Now the first thing I'm going to be doing here is first of all making reference to the before while making some minor adjustments. Another thing I like to do for my images here is I like to try some presets and see how they look. So I'll probably try maybe like the vintage preset here. You can get this preset from the link in the description below from my pack of 10 presets. Probably do like minor adjustments and see how it looks. Now this looks great, but for this video and for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be editing this image from scratch and showing you guys how I would probably go about this. So the first thing I like to do here is increase the shadows a bit so that more of our skin can be visible in the image, and reduce the highlights so that details in the clothing can be more visible as well. Then maybe reduce the blacks a bit, also increase the clarity a little bit. Remember, clarity should be more than 10. And then my contrast, I'm going to play with this and see where it goes. So I'll reduce my contrast a bit, and then my exposure we also reduce it a little bit as well. Now remember, you can also make reference to the before image. As you guys can see, this is the basic color correction where I try to bring most of the details back and make it look more properly exposed. The next thing I'm going to do here is adding a little bit of vibrance to this image. I want to look a bit more vibrant because of all the grass and the colors there. So I'm really loving the colors in general. So I feel like it's going to be really great to work with. So the next thing I'm going to be doing here is increasing the temperature a bit so that the color in the skin tone can pop a bit more. So just a little bit there. And then the next thing I'm going to be doing here is moving over to the curves. Now at this point I'm going to be making some minor adjustments and seeing the results. So in the midtones and then the highlights as well, to get more of the details from the dress back. So right now the image is looking a bit more properly exposed. And I can also lift the blacks a bit to give that bit of vibe. So this is before and after so far. So moving on, as you guys can see, I can literally stop here with the color grading, but we can dig deep a little bit more and see where we go from there. Let's move over to the red channel. Let's add some points here and then make sure these are the proper position. Now we're going to be adjusting the highlights in the red channel of the tone curve. So we're going to be adjusting a little bit more to add a little bit of blues to the highlights. Not too much, just a little bit of blues to the highlights. Since the highlights are looking a bit too warm, so we're going to add a little bit of that. And then move over to the blue channel to add a little bit of brown to the shadows. And look, so you can see how it looks before and after the tone curve. As you guys can see, most of the major adjustments here I've been going with the tone curve alone, and I feel like this image is actually good to go as it is, but let's dive deep a bit more. So I'm going to be increasing the saturation of the green. I like how more vibrant the green is looking here. I'm really loving the greens there, so I'm going to leave the greens as it is right here, and then reduce a bit of yellows to make the ground look a bit whiter. Remember that yellows affect the skin a bit, so let's just try not to make it too much. So I feel like around there is fine. Before, after. So it makes the color of the dress look more bright and the greens a bit more vibrant than it is already. So now let's reduce that a bit. Let's try to find a balance with the greens. So I'm going to be adjusting the blues here a bit, and then the greens. Let's play around with it a bit. Now this look actually looks really great. I like it, but I'm trying to go for a more vibrant green for this image. Then the next thing we're going to be doing here is split toning. And this is the values I like to use for my shadows, and then my highlights. I'm going to experiment with this a bit and see what I get. I'm going to be going for this look, and boom, as you guys can see, it's really coming out really great. The color grading is really setting in. So I've also sharpened the image here to add a little bit of more detail to this image, and then I won't add any vignette or anything here. I feel like this image looks great so far, but let's play with the calibration a bit and see what we get. Now we can make this skin look a bit more brown, a little bit, a little before and after. It's looking a bit more brown and it's popping. So let's try to reduce the saturation to not make this too much. This is before and after more calibration. That just makes our skin pop a little bit more than usual. So this is the final look of the image. As you guys can see, there's so much progress done here. The colors are looking better, a bit sharp, a little bit more sharper. So let's move over to the next image. Here is the second image by ishaya.ph. His handle is on the screen right here, so you guys can go follow him and check him out. Now let's get started with this image. So the first thing I'm going to be doing here, as usual, is the basic adjustments by also making reference to the raw image as well. I feel like this image already looks pretty great off camera alone, so we are going to try to do some adjustments that are not too major to this image, hopefully. So the first thing I'm going to be doing here is crop this. I'm also really loving the shadow behind her here, so I feel like I'm definitely going to leave that in. So I'll crop this and then click done. The next thing I will also be doing here is basic adjustments and seeing what I get from that. So I won't be lifting the highlights too much. Try to like maintain the moody look that this image has. Let's reduce the contrast a bit. It's a lot of contrast, so let's reduce it a bit. Then we're going to use our histogram to like try to find the right exposure, and then we move over from there. The next thing I'm going to be doing here is reducing the highlights and the shadows as well, and the blacks too. So I think that's great so far. Reduce my clarity a little bit of vibrance to the image. So let's look at before and after for reference to know what we're doing here. So yeah, I've made it look a little less contrasty like the original image. So I feel like this is a good starting point to then move over to the color graded and final adjustments. So next thing I'm going to do here is adjusting different colors and seeing what I get from here. I feel like most of the colors here are kind of yellow, so I'll be leaving the yellows here. And then for blues, let's see what we can do with this blue. I feel like a little blue in the image, but it's actually not reflecting, so let's leave it as it is. The next thing I'm going to be doing here is the split toning. I'm trying not to do way too much with this image, so yeah, let's see what we can get. So as usual, I like using these values for my shadows because I feel like the colors are close to the skin tone. And then for this highlights, I'm going to like play around here, click around here, and try to find something. So I feel like around here is perfect. Now let's get a lot of that green in there. So yeah, around here is perfect. I feel like it's kind of like a balance there where the image doesn't look way too warm. Yeah, I'm going to stick with this area. So this some of the highest figures I've ever used, but so I feel like I'm going to use that for this image. We're going to move over to the sharpening it a little bit. I'll move over to the camera calibration. And the camera calibration here, I'm going to adjusting the red primary, the green primary as well, and then the blue primary in the opposite direction a bit. Then we're also going to try to reduce the saturation here. Let's reduce the saturation here as well. Then this is the before and after of this image. My purpose with this image was to try to maintain the moody vibe and still try to give it its own look. So I hope you guys are loving how this image is looking so far. I think that everything's looking quite nice and quite great so far. But the final thing I'm going to try to do here is adjust the tone curve to like give it the final look. Move over to like our RGB curve. We won't be going over to any channel apart from the RGB curve. And then we're going to add a little bit of fade. Just a little bit of like leave the blacks a little bit to maintain that moody look. And then try not to leave the shadows so much. You can keep the midtones around here. You can leave the highlights a bit. So you can do a little bit more final adjustments here to make sure everything is balanced. So yeah, I think that's it for this image. So this is the before and this is the after. I made it look less contrasty. I added a little bit more pop and vibe to the image in general. I hope you guys are loving this series. Don't forget you guys can send your images to the email address on your screen right now. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.